$4,196. My first day trading in Q on this funded trader run. And this wasn't luck. This was discipline, strategy, and execution. I'm going to break it down. The setup, the trade, the mindset, and what you guys can learn from it today. So let's get into it. Before I do the trade breakdown, I want to go into you shouldn't compare yourself to what I'm doing right now to whatever you're doing, right? This took many, many, many times of practice, discipline, and actually failing at what I was doing to get to the point that I am in today. So if you're you're struggling with overtrading, lack of consistency, emotions, this is something that we're going to go over in this series to kind of help you get to past that point of when you can be consistent and actually take payouts, right? So we're going to go over when things started to click, right? When you're focusing on your specific setup, when you're journaling your trades, when you're following your actual plans, right? Because me personally, I don't know if you guys are going to admit it, but I used to chase the setups. Now I just sit back and I wait for them to come to me, right? So keep that in mind. Let's go into this. Let's do this. Let's go over the trade. It is now the night of, so market has closed. That's why you're not seeing green up here. But if I go here to my actual performance stats, you'll see my P&L, $839 per account, right? As you can see on multiple accounts, right? So I have 5 total accounts. Each of them took one trade, right? Here it is. Here it is. Oh, go back. Well, now you guys know I'm not lying, right? There's a fat refresh right there. Right, monthly P&L right there. So nothing too crazy, right? Great first trade. I was eyeballing this trade for a minute, not gonna lie. The night of market open, I was looking into this 4-hour, or there's the trade right there. But I was looking in this 4-hour right there, that zone right there. As soon as we purged that high, I saw, of course, CRT setup on the 4-hour because we purged it, came down and we saw the 1-hour purge. Now, this is why it was a B setup. And let me go over to on trading view. This is a trade I'm also eyeballing right now, but here it is, right? So here's that specific trade. This is how I set up my CRTs. This is my range candle. This is it right here. This is the candle that purged the range, right? As you can see here. Also, I always keep an eye on ES just so I can get an idea how the market is kind of moving. So here they are, right? 4 o'clock. I always want to find a higher time frame CRT within a lower time frame CRT within honestly a lower time frame CRT. So I want to see a 4, a 1, and a 15. Right? That's my A plus setup. If I see that, right, that's what I want to take. On this specific one, I have a 4-hour confirmation. I have a 1-hour confirmation right here, right? The 9 purged the 8 o'clock, right? Also purging the actual range, right? Huge confirmation, comes back into the range. Beautiful. I mean, absolutely gorgeous, right? What I want to see as well is I would want it to see this 915 get purged by the 930. If that happened, it would have been absolutely gorgeous, right? That's what I want to be looking for. It didn't happen, right? Neither on NQ, neither on ES, right? If that does happen and we get SMTs at the top, dude, oh my God, I'm putting the whole account on that shit. I mean, I'm full porting. I'm just playing. I would be going a little bit heavier though. As you can see, I only took in with 3, right? I only took 3 micros. But if that happens, bro, I mean, we letting it rip, right? Like at least 5, bro. At least 5, maybe 6 or 7. Bro. Hey, Brendan, I know you're seeing this, bro, but I got to take it. Anyway, let's say I get a 15-minute purge of this, comes back into the range. What I did here personally is, I mean, I went down to the 1 minute, was going down. I was looking for confirmations in a 5-minute. Then I went down to the 1 minute, just get a little cleaner move because I didn't. This is where you gotta adapt, right? You never know if you're gonna get that A plus setup, or if it's gonna do something in specific that you don't know. Because the market is never gonna really move the same. If your setup is there, there's different setups within your actual setup, right? How high probable this specific setup is. This is just comes with adaptation and doing this strategy over and over again. I saw right here. This is a 1 minute, right? We formed an OB when we closed below. When we closed below, the actual OB, right? So once we closed below, we formed an OB. Once we retested that OB and rejected from that point, that's where I'm getting in, right? That's my entry, right? It's a model 1 entry because we have an order block formation and we respected the order block, right? So that's when I'm looking to get in. So once we did that, right here, zoom in for you guys. Once we formed an OB, right, and we respected that OB, that's when I got in at 230.75, right here. I got in, and I am targeting 50% of the range, right? 50%. Remember, this is a 4-hour range. So 50% of the 4-hour range is what I'm targeting. Should be somewhere around there. So I got in there, and at that point, before I get in, I'm already looking at my RR, right? This trade turned out to be a 652. If I bring this to the highs, it's around 462. Not let's say you brought it to the high, 466, 462, right? Let's say you brought it to the high. You probably should bring it to the high. You probably should bring it to the high just to be a little bit safer, right? And of course, you're targeting 50% of the range first, and then you can try to target 50%. 100% of the range after. I only held a 50%. That is what my strategy does. Since I went in with light, I don't want to take out 2, leave 1, which I could, and it would have worked out in my favor, right? If I'm taking A plus setups where I'm going in a little bit heavier, I will do that. But since this wasn't an A plus setup for me, I did not do that, which I'm completely fine with. So yeah, I took TP right there at roughly around 80, 90. I think it was like 90, 50. Where did I take TP off? I took TP off at, 90, 50. So, not a bad move. 230, 75 minus 0.90, 50, 100, 140 handles. So not a bad move, right? So that was my first trade that I took on NQNES. So my goal this month is not really worry about the money here. I am not going to be worrying about how much I am making each day, but mostly about just consistency, right? That's going to be the biggest thing for me. Consistency, consistency, consistency. That's what my goal is for the rest of this month. And I hope you guys are, ready to follow along. Hopefully you guys are on your way as well, right? At least taking combines or, studying what you guys are studying, whatever it is, right? I got some friends with me, Sam, Nick, that are on this journey as well. They're learning to kind of, understand the basics first before kind of going into the journey. So wherever you are, if you guys are in the beginning stages, or if you guys are, just got funded, or if you guys are already making 6, 7 figures, no one's competing against each other. So we're all here to help each other out. So let me know if you guys have any questions or any advice at all, and we can go from there. Until next trade, see you guys tomorrow.